Welcome back to another live stream, guys. Today we'll be doing a live setup of a gamer-themed Spreadshop. So just to show you real quick what we've been doing. Each week I've been making designs, setting up shops, and having you guys just follow along as I'm doing it. And everything I'm making design-wise is available to download for free. I'll give you those links a little bit later in this live, so you can download any of the designs you see today. But just to show you real quick, there's some of the designs we made previously. We have it all theme based right now. So we have a podcast theme design, Sugar Skull, typography based designs, kind of like 80s synth type designs, more typography designs, and now we're focused on gaming right now. So we've been making a bunch of different gaming designs. You can see some of the other ones we worked on live as well. We have retro game, game over, and game on. So we got some PC gamers in there, old school looking kind of designs. And we're going to use some of these assets today to make our very own Spreadshop. So let's go ahead and dive in and get started here. So I'll show you what it takes to set up a Spreadshop. It's pretty straightforward. So we're going to jump over to Photoshop real quick. And we're going to go to New File. And I have a template saved here, just so you guys know, to make a header image for your Spreadshop. It's 1400 pixels. Excuse me, 1400 pixels by 400 pixels is the size. So I already have a template there, so I'm going to go ahead and open that up. And we're going to start with one of the designs we created already. So I'm going to go ahead and drag this guy in. So this is the retro gaming design that I made in a live previously. So I'm going to shrink that down to fit that a little better. And so we have our start of our header image. So in Spreadshop, when you open your Spreadshop, this is called the teaser image, aka the header image. So they're both used concurrently. But so I think I'm going to add some color to this background. And I know I have a blue that I like that I kind of want to use for this. So we're going to start with that. And if you guys have any questions while I'm live here, feel free to ask. I'll do my best to try to answer any questions about Spreadshop, about designing, anything you guys want to know. And I'll try to get some tips and tricks too as I'm going through here. Just as far as shortcuts or anything like you might be use when you're designing something. Okay, I think I like that color. And I want, I think, to have a little bit of more texture in the background here. So there's a lot of different ways to do that. I think I am going to use a texture that is already created. So let's go ahead and drag this guy in. And then I'm going to make that fit the canvas. There we go. And we want that to have the color of the background I made. So we're going to go up and change it to probably I like some of the color pops I'm getting here, so I think I like that, but we're going to tone it down a little bit. Now we have some texture on our background, so it's already starting to look like something pretty cool. And I think I want some type of pattern too in that background, so I'll show you guys real quick. I usually work back and forth between Photoshop and Illustrator. I find that it works better for my workflow, especially working with vector-based designs. It's always a little bit easier to make any adjustments you want. So I'm going to jump back to Illustrator real quick. And I'll show you something really cool. So we're going to create a pattern for our backdrop, and I'll show you how we're going to do that. So I'm going to go over here and select a font, and I'm just going to type X space O. And so we have the beginning of our pattern there. I think I might change that to the same color blue. All right, so we got our start of our pattern there. So just two random kind of shapes, and we're just going to go up to object. We're going to go down to repeat grid. So check this out. I can now grab this and make this repeat up and down, where I can grab this and have it spaced out differently how I want. I can move them and expand them. So I know my canvas is 1400 by 400, so I want this to fit that background. So real quick, just to make that easier for myself, I'm gonna grab a shape here on the side, and I'm gonna make that exactly 1400 by 400 pixels. There we go. And so this lets me see the sizing a little bit on that. So let's move this to the front. Let's change this to a color that we can see. And so now I'm just going to grab my pattern and shrink it down. I want it real small. And now we're going to have that repeat across the entirety of my backdrop. We could even have that run over a little bit, that's fine. I think that's looking pretty good. I kind of want a few to drop out, so I'm going to go up to Object, Expand. And I'm just going to hit A here. I'm going to select some of these objects and just hit Delete on them. Oops, not all of them, just one of them. Let's make sure we expanded that object. There we go. All right. So now I can select them, hit delete. So I'm just gonna remove a few real quick. I even like that. Anything random is fine as well. It's kind of you're gonna see how this is gonna work in the backdrop here in just a moment. Just want to remove some of these real quick. And we'll do one more here. Okay, so I got a pretty good backdrop there, so we'll check this out. So I'm in Illustrator now. I'm going to select this new thing I just made here. I'm going to go Command C, go back to Photoshop, and then go Command V. And you have several options when you paste that back into Photoshop. For this, I'm just going to keep it as a smart object, which is fine for what we're doing here today. And I want to put that above my layers here. And make it so we make sure it's fitting the whole of our layout. Second. There we go. And let me zoom in so you guys can kind of see how that's looking. So we have some texture now in the background that looks pretty cool. I might have that blend a little bit more, maybe with thinking multiply would be enough. And we'll center that a little bit more too here in just a moment. Actually, I'm going to keep it that color just so I can see how it looks here in the backdrop real quick. And then we're going to grow that a little bit. There, that's about the layout that I want. Now we're going to go back to changing that. Kind of like it with a pop of color, but I'm not sure yet. Like I said, guys, feel free to ask any questions as I'm going through here and making this. Anything about Spreadshop, anything about laying out designs, feel free to ask, and I'll do my best to try to answer any questions you guys might have. All right. So I'm trying to figure out if I liked it darker or with that pop of color. I think I want to keep it more subtle, so we're going to turn that opacity back up real quick. Go and change it back to normal, and we'll just drop the opacity back down just a little bit. I want it to be real subtle in the background. So there you go. Just add a little bit of texture in the background, kind of something fun to look at there. And I think that's looking pretty cool. I want to add just a dash of light here as well. I can do that with the gradient tool. So I'm going to go again, probably on top of what I've done already, and add, we want a gradient light here. The change in color from top to bottom, so that might work. I think that's looking pretty cool. Kind of reminds me a little bit of Tron. So I'm pretty happy with my background, so I'm going to save that out real quick, so you can just save that for web. And we're going to add that real quick. And we'll call that teaser image. Save. Okay, so I'm going to do one other thing before I get out of Photoshop. I'm going to go to File, New again. And I want to create my shop logo. So I'm going to hit Create. So the shop logo is the small logo that will appear in the top left-hand corner of your shop, your Spreadshop. So I'll show you all this here in just a moment. I'm just setting everything up as far as my files. Okay, looks pretty good. And I'll do the same thing there. I'm going to save that out. And call that my logo. All right, so when you're creating a Spreadshop, that's really the only two things you need to do to really start laying out and kind of creating a pretty good look for your Spreadshop. Outside of that, you're just going to want your designs. To start, you only need like 1 to 2 designs, to be honest. So let's jump back over to our Spreadshop and we'll start laying that out. There we go. So when you land your Spreadshop, this is what your Spreadshop will look like. You're going to start, you're going to upload the designs that you created. So that's the second tab down here on the left-hand side. So I'm going to go ahead and select that real quick. You can see some other designs we uploaded here. And then we're going to now grab the ones we created. And so I'm going to upload. Let's go ahead and upload them all. And you can just drag those right in. Those all upload. Give them the moment to load. And they should pop in here in just a moment. There we go. So we have all our designs in there, so we can start making products. Before we do that, I will show you the shop before we add the products. So we're going to go ahead and create the shop. To create a shop, you go down to the left-hand side here where this little orange button is here. This is all the shops that I've opened already. And I want to create a new one today for my gaming-themed Spreadshop. So I'm going to go ahead and select the plus here. 1 second. So I'm going to select the plus. And we're going to go open Spreadshop. And we'll call it Retro Gamer. Open shop. Allows you to choose a theme here on the next page. So any of these themes you can pick that have a layout ready for you. We're just going to go with the classic theme today, which is the very bottom one here. It allows you to initially choose some colors here. So I already know I want that fun dark blue to be part of my color theme. So let's go ahead and grab that real quick. I'm going to go jump back, grab it real quick. So that's the hex code that I'm grabbing right there, just to copy it over. There we go, I got my dark blue in there. And I'm going to save that. Okay. And now we're going to start uploading some of the images we created now. So I'm going to go up to page settings, start page. And The start page is where you really can customize your Spreadshop to make it look like it's truly yours. So the first thing we're gonna do is add a teaser image, which is the header image that we created earlier. So I'm gonna go down and grab that real quick. And same thing, you just drag that right on top here and that'll upload. And in just a moment, you'll see that pop up. All right, you should see that now. Whenever you do that, it'll give you the option to have a headline and a call to action button. I'm going to turn those both off so that my header is the feature of the shop. There we go. Looks pretty cool. And I'm going to hit save. And the next thing we're going to do is I'm going to go back to shop settings here, and we want to go to appearance, logo, and here we're going to change it to logo, and here's where we upload the other image we created, that really small image. And you'll see how that looks here in just a moment. So there we go, that's uploading now. And so you can see in the top left hand corner now, we got our actual logo for our Spreadshop here as well. And you can see that's a really small image. It's just a way to brand your Spreadshop throughout the different pages as people are navigating it and buying merch. So I think we're looking pretty good. So like I said, we only had to create those 2 images and we got a pretty cool looking Spreadshop already. So I'm gonna hit save. So I'm gonna go back up to my design section where I uploaded my gaming themed designs, and we're gonna start making products. And I just wanna show you how easy this really is. So we'll start with our game over design. I think it's a pretty cool one. All I do is click on it. I want to select the shop that I want to put it in. So that's Retro Gamer, the one I just made here during this live. Hit next. It will automatically place that design on my products for me. And actually it's added some products in here already as well. So it's really easy to do because it automatically creates the products for you. It does the layout for you. And if you want to, you can jump into any of these products and make any further customizations you might want. Like I might jump into this contrast mug over here and maybe grab the design and slide it up a little bit. Things like that, or even you can make it smaller. You can choose the product colors, say you want to change it to something else. I kind of like it with the blue, so we're going to keep it like that. And then once we're done, we're going to hit done, and that'll save those changes that we made live. And I think the rest of this is looking pretty cool. I'm just going to limit my product selection a little bit further. All right, I think it looks pretty good. And then once I'm happy with that, I hit next. And there's 3 areas you need to fill out here. It's just the name of the design. So I'm going to call it Game Over. And then you want to add a description after that. And you usually want to go into a little more detail than I am now, but just for the sake of the time of this live, I'm going to keep it short. That's pretty good. And you want to have at least 3 tags when you're setting this up. And this is all just so your design can appear in search engines. So it's optimizing your SEO for your design so it actually is able to be found once you start selling your design. So I'm going to go ahead and go to create. There we go. We have our design created and we have our products created. And I'll show you how that looks in the shop here in just a moment. But for now, we're going to go back to all designs. And we're going to do one more of the layout. And I think I'm going to go with, let's do the old school gamer design. Same thing, pick the Spreadshop I want to put it in, go to next. It'll automatically place that on products for me. And I think everything's looking pretty good with this as well. I think I might want to change my main shirt to maybe a lighter color so I can go up there. That or white. Kind of like it with yellow actually. And I can move the placement if I want. Looks good. Done. Just to have more options, you can see there's a sticker in here as well. It'll automatically do that for you as well. And you can actually choose the type of sticker that you feature as well. I'll show you that real quick. So you can have your sticker with a white background, you can do a glossy background, or you can do a transparent background for the designs that you're creating. I think I like the white. The transparent's pretty cool too, but I can leave those options available to the customer when they're checking out as well. Okay, so it looks pretty good. So I'm going to go ahead and hit next. And again, I'm going to name my design. And add a short description. Like I said, go into a little more detail when you're doing this yourself. And you want at least 3 tags again. Hit create. There we go, we got our second product created that quickly. So I'm going to jump back to my Spreadshop now. So I'm going to go ahead and go to the left-hand side here, select that new shop I created, and let that load. And you can see as I scroll down here, the products I just made are now instantly available in my Spreadshop. And it's looking pretty good. But I'm going to go back and do a few further customizations before I'm finished here. So I'm going to go back to page settings. I'm going to go back to our start page. And I want my designs to be featured first. So I'm going to go over to the left-hand side here, and I can reorganize any of these to fit my needs. So I'm going to go ahead and move the design and products up to be the first thing that's featured. You can see that pops up here. And I want to turn off these bottom 2 things, which are the trust elements and the create your own, which you can allow customers to customize the products you create so they can add text or additional images and stuff like that. For this case, just for the looks of the shop, I'm going to turn those off. So you can just toggle those off, hit save. And I'm going to do the same thing for the customized banner. Hit save. And when I scroll down now, both of those will be gone. So it goes straight from my designs to my products, and everything's looking pretty cool. And you can see if I roll over anything, I have that custom blue that I added earlier. So I have a cool color that fits the theme of my shop as well. And then I'm going to do one other thing. I like the game over design. I want it to be first, and we can change that as well. So I can go to product list page here. And we do 2 things. I can have designs be the feature when people get into their Spreadshop, so that they can select the design, then it'll show all the products that design is on, or you can select products to have the products be the feature in your Spreadshops as well. If you start uploading a lot of designs, it's good to switch it over to designs tab sometimes because it helps organize that, so it's easier to find the designs that you actually have in your Spreadshop. So then we're going down to sort designs, and like I said, I wanted that game over design to be first. So I can just drag it and drag it over here to the first slot, hit save. And if I go back now to my Spreadshop, so let's go ahead and just go back. The first design that appears in my shop is that game over design now. So, and now the secondary is the old school gamer one. And I think that's looking pretty cool. And I'm going to go ahead and expand the preview of that Spreadshop here real quick. So here is the shop right now. This is the landing page people would land on whenever they first came to my Spreadshop, and from here I can do an additional checks before I actually launch this to make this shop live. I can see how it looks on tablet, I can see how it looks on mobile phone, and go back. Everything's looking pretty good. I can select the products that I have here, see how they load. I can do a product preview of the actual design, and all those customizations I can turn on and off here. And go back to my main splash page here. It's looking pretty cool. And so since I'm happy with everything, I'm going to go back and collapse that. And I have a few ways to launch my shop. I'm going to go ahead and go over to Launch Shop up here in the top left-hand corner. Or I can go back and go to General and go down here to Activate/Deactivate Shop and go to Online here as well. But in this case, I'm just going to use the prompt that it gives me up here and select Launch Shop. And as soon as you launch your shop, you'll be able to offer 15% off. So whenever you're ready to launch, make sure that you have your marketing ready to go as well. That means talking about it on social media, talking about it on anything like Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. And then you can use this promo to advertise your newly launched shop. So it's an easy way to get sales after you launch your Spreadshop. So it's pretty cool to have that available to you when you first launch. And so when it's done, we're basically launched and ready to go. We have our shop here, and we can go ahead and go to our shop URL here and see how our final product looks like here. Now our shop is live. So here you go. This is what people will actually see when they visit your Spreadshop. And you can see that it was pretty easy to do. We did all that in a matter of just minutes. I have a brand new shop that's launched, and so the next hardest part isn't nearly even the spread shop. The only work you really need to do is take some time and just market your shop. That's the biggest thing that people don't do initially, is they don't talk about the shop enough, like when it first launches, and they lose out on some sales. So make sure when you first launch to really market your shop, and don't be afraid to talk about your products. So as I mentioned at the beginning of the stream as well, all the designs that you see that I've created are available to download for free. So I'm going to take you through that real quick. That'll about wrap up this live. So I made some podcast theme designs. To find those, go to podcast.spreadshop.com. That'll be a landing page here. It'll just give you some basic walkthrough for anyone that has a podcast. And then at the very bottom, you can download the designs that I created. So there'll be a design pack of 10 designs. You can use those in your Spreadshop. They're all free, so feel free to download them. Please do. The other one will be Digital Artist, and that's called digitalartist.spreadshop.com. And the same thing, scroll to the bottom. Now, a lot of the synth kind of designs that I made will be in that one, some typography-based designs. It's all around Digital Artist is the theme of this landing page, so it's digitalartist.spreadshop.com. We have 2 more right now as well. The one right now is what we're currently working on. This is gamers.spreadshop.com, which is the gaming themed designs I've been making over the last few live streams. And again, if you scroll to the bottom, all the designs you saw today that were gamer themed will be available to download in that design pack as well. And just to give you a heads up on what's coming up next, we have rescueshelter.spreadshop.com, which is all about rescue animals. So if you have if that's part of your life or one of your passions and something you want to launch as far as a spread shop, again, you can go there and download some theme designs around shelter and rescue dogs and rescue cats and rescue animals. So we're basically providing all the designs you would need to launch the spread shop absolutely free. We're trying to make them fit your life and your niche and your passions and your interests, so that you can go ahead and launch with us without any issues at all. Spread shop is free. Takes a few minutes to set up and sign in, and all you need is email and password, and you can start making designs right away and start making sales. So like I said at the beginning, you can see how easy that was to set up and create my very own spread shop today. That took a matter of minutes. So please take some time and download some of those designs and launch your very own spread shop and check it out. So hope you guys liked that today. And if you have any questions, like I said, feel free to ask any during these live streams. If not, you feel free to email us as well. But we'll be doing more in the future. And we've been trying to stream on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. So keep a lookout. We're on YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram Live. So be sure to tune in and check us out. Thanks again for joining me again today, guys. We'll have more for you in the future coming up. Thanks.